Well, welcome everybody. My name is Rachel, and this is my friend Nia, and she is somewhere where it is cold. But she's going to be ambitious and she's going to go to the gym after our conversation. And I think you might understand why after our conversation. So, Nia, we were talking about looking back over this past year, looking forward, and looking at making goals and taking care of ourselves. So, would you like to share what you came up with? Because I know you put a lot of thought into this.
Sure. As a person living with dementia, I find that even though there are things that I can no longer do, it's more important to focus on what I can do. And that doesn't mean that I can't have goals for myself. And so for the new year, I went ahead and came up with some New Year's, not really resolutions, but goals to where I can engage my mind, spirit, and body. And they're done by the week to make them. So they're short-term goals, but they're things that can help people like me living with dementia to live well and live better lives.
I like that idea of putting it by the week.
Yes, by the week. For instance, when it comes to the mind, these are some of my things that I'm doing. I'm completing a one crossword puzzle a week. So that is my goal, because sometimes, we find that we may sit and watch a little bit too much TV, but for those of us living with dementia, we really need to engage our minds. So that is one of my goals, and also journaling my thoughts, because although we may be in support groups and we may have friends and family, it's important to also get other feelings out that we may not be able to tell anyone else. And so journaling our thoughts, and then also in a positive way, that is also leaving your thoughts for your loved ones while your mind is still fresh and good. And the next one is embracing gratitude and possibly just saying thank you more every day. Whether it just be, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I say is, thank you, Lord, because he woke me up. So embracing a spirit of gratitude. And along those lines, also for every negative thing, think a positive or proclaim something positive. And that will also help our minds to think more, get those endorphins going and just think more, get the dopamine going and just engage those other cells in our minds. And the last one for your mind that I'm doing is I'm revisiting a hobby, or I may even try a new one. I used to be able to sketch, Rachel, and I used to be able to draw anything that I could see.
Wow.
So I'm going to try and sketch again. So those are a few things that I'm doing to engage my mind in the new year. And my goal is to sketch something or engage in a new hobby every week. And some things that you may be able to do is to check out if you have an adult community college, sometimes they have like cooking classes or learn an instrument classes. These are things that people living with dementia can do. We can still do these things. As Rachel, as you said, I'm going to the gym when I get out of here. And one of my goals, we have to, if it's good for the heart, it's good for the mind. So my goal is to exercise 3 to 4 times a week. And to also go for walks and drink 8 ounces of water a day, along with make an effort to eat more of the Mediterranean diet. Because the omegas and the olive oils and the fish and the legumes, the fruits and vegetables, if it's good for the heart, it's good for the mind. So I have that every day I'm going to eat 2 vegetables, 2 fruits, 1 fish, and use olive oil. So that's my everyday challenge.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes. And lastly, for the spirit, which is so important because our spirits are what keeps us going. It is It is what we exude into the world, into the universe. And so one thing that I'm going to do is I made a day, which is my Sundays, to call loved ones. Even though I talk to people throughout the week, I made a point to call and speak to loved ones, because having that social connection as a person living with dementia is so important. And I take time out of the day to not watch so much TV, but at least an hour of just listening to music. So I'm using music therapy also, and that's a goal of mine, 1 hour a day at least of listening to music, to get those other little sparks in my brain going and to calm me down whenever I'm feeling anxious. And last but not least, if it's good for the spirit, it's good for the community, volunteerism, because we can still do things. We can still volunteer and be active members of the community, whether it be at a food bank, whether you're volunteering at a library or at your church. These are all good things that we can still do as people living with dementia. And that's what I have for my New Year's resolutions.
Wow, Nia, I'm really impressed. And something I noticed, kind of a key thing in that, was how specific you were. And I know people have talked about, setting goals and the idea of making it specific. So it's, I'm going to listen to music 1 hour a day. I'm going to do a crossword puzzle one a week. I'm going to have 2 fruits and 2 vegetables and 1 fish and cook with olive oil. So I like how you've made it so concrete. So it makes it easier to know whether you've actually done it or, well, I got close, or not today.
Yes, they're called SMART goals.
Okay.
Specific, measurable,
Attainable,
achievable, realistic, and time achieved or something like that. So yeah, they're SMART goals. I learned that many years ago, that you have to be deliberate, because if you're aiming for nothing, you're not gonna hit anything,
Yeah, because you're not trying to go anywhere specific, so it's just kind of aimless. So you have set out, I'm trying to go here, and I'm going to do it by these different steps, and I'm going to do it this often, and this is why.
Yes.
Well, I'm really excited for you.
Thank you. There's so many things that come with being a person living with dementia. And many times people focus on the end result, which is, the last stages of dementia. But prior to that, we can still live fruitful lives. We still can, but we have to take hold of our quality of life as well, and not just succumb to the disease.
Well, I've heard you say, isn't it something about you're fighting to do the best you can, so that you're not just giving up, you're kind of giving dementia a run for its money, and you're making it as hard as you can for it to take things just on your own. You're making it work for it. You're exercising, you're paying attention to what you're eating, you're doing things that are good for your brain and your body. You're being and interacting with people. You're making a difference in people's lives. And you're right. A lot of people seem to miss that middle part. Everyone focuses on the end. And I'm not sure what happens to the middle part, but looks like you're really taking that middle part and saying, and I'm going to do the best I can with what I have while I have it. And I admire you for that.
Thank you, Rachel. I couldn't do it without people like you.
It's support, and it's community, and it's people working together, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing your goals with us and how you have taken that time. I know you've actually taken time and pulled back to really think and look over the past year and look at where you were and where you wanted to be and how you were going to get there. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tifa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching. And if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out. And you might want to visit our website, www.tipasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.